Tom Thibodeau continues to receive criticism over the amount of minutes the starters are playing. Many are concerned about how this Knicks team's going to look once we enter the postseason. However, newest Knick Karl-Anthony Towns is not concerned about the minutes. In fact, in a recent interview that he did with the media, he actually defended Tom Thibodeau from the minutes police. We're also going to take a look at the newest All-Star voting results and see where Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson now rank. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. So anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. KAT calls out the minutes police. Myself and others have been extremely critical of Tom Thibodeau and the amount of minutes he's playing the starters. At some points during games, we can see it. The starters are tired. They have no lift in their legs. And that's why late in games, sometimes in those fourth quarters, we cannot make any shots and we cannot get any stops. New York needs to make a change here. We need to make an adjustment and utilize our bench more, because right now, Tom Thibodeau is utilizing an 8-man rotation. He is not playing any more players than that, and likely he's not going to extend that rotation until he gets back Deuce McBride and eventually Mitchell Robinson. The minutes are not consistent, and if the starters continue to play heavy minutes like this going into the postseason, an injury could happen, because we've seen it happen like this before last season, and I don't want to see that happen again. However, Karl-Anthony Towns recently came to the defense of Tom Thibodeau and all of the critics calling him out about playing the starters too many minutes. And this is what he had to say. Shout out to Steph Bondy with the New York Post for giving us the following information. According to him, Karl-Anthony Towns on Thibs and the criticism the coach gets for playing his starters too many minutes. According to Towns, I feel like y'all give him flack all the time, no matter where he is, but y'all keep talking about him, and that means he's getting a job. And that means everyone keeps respecting him and knowing what he can do for a team. He's done it in Chicago. He did it in Boston. He did it with us in Minnie. And he's doing it here, even before I got here. So say what you want about Thibs. He gets the job done. Now, I can sit here and tell you about all the accolades that Tom Thibodeau has. And honestly, he does have a lot, including the fact that after last night's win, he got his 200th victory as Knicks head coach. And that's something to celebrate. Also, the Knicks are off to one of their best starts in nearly a decade. So that needs to be recognized. Coming off of a 9-game win streak. And we saw at times, under head coach Tom Thibodeau, the way this offense and defense looks. At times, we are blowing out teams and suffocating them defensively. That is exactly what you want to see with the roster that we've built. But while there is some good with Thibs, there's also some bad. And it's okay to acknowledge that. It doesn't mean you hate Tom Thibodeau or hate the Knicks. It just means you're calling it like you see it. With Tom Thibodeau right now, he plays an 8-man rotation primarily. And a lot of the players on the bench do not get significant time. They don't even get consistent time. Think about it like this. Being a professional athlete, you know the starters are going to get 35-plus minutes. But you on the bench, you have no idea how many minutes you're going to get from night to night. One night, it's 8 minutes. Another night, it's DNP. Another night, it's 30 minutes. How do you stay ready, prepare, get in any type of rhythm so you can have an impact off the bench? You need to be able to utilize your players, develop your players, utilize certain rotations so they get used to playing, get used to being out there and having an impact, scoring, doing what you need them to do. But if you refuse to play your bench significant minutes, you're going to be having one of the worst benches in the entire league. Not only because they won't score, but they won't have the ability to score or have any type of impact in the game because they're not being utilized consistently enough. And with the Knicks bench right now, you can clearly say that. Right now on the bench, we utilize Landry Shamet, Cam Payne. When Deuce McBride comes back, it'll be him and Precious Achiuwa. But that equals to a 9-man rotation. And honestly, we really haven't seen that. Right when we had 9 players that Tom Thibodeau trusted, Miles McBride unfortunately went down with that mysterious hamstring injury. And then Landry Shamet has been filling in very nicely at this point with good defense and really that last game giving us good offense. We need to see that continue as hopefully his minutes increase. But as we get players back, what is Tom Thibodeau going to do? He's going to need to expand the rotation and play the bench significant minutes, because that way you're going to be able to rest your starters, show your bench that you trust them, and you're going to be able to develop them, see new rotations, see what they can do out there. And then maybe come the postseason, you'll be able to have that as a weapon that you can use. But if you don't develop it now, you won't have it then. I don't know about you guys, but it's very frustrating to see all of that young talent on the bench just wasting away each and every game, never being utilized. Even when you can make the case that that talent could be used in the game. Maybe we need a Tyler Kolek pass. Maybe we need a Pacome Dadier 3. Maybe we need a Huck Porty block. We don't know unless we put them in the game and watch what they can do. That's the only thing Tom Thibodeau needs to adjust and change here. I understand you want to wait for the players that you trust. Wait for them. But until they come back, use who you have. If you do that, it'll help everybody, especially the starters who don't have to say it. They don't have to say they're tired. We see it. If you're watching the games, especially in the fourth quarter, you can see they're fatigued. We need to be able to fix that. If you play an expanded rotation, that instantly fixes that issue. But something else that's a little bit frustrating is the all-star voting as of late. Because last time we saw where Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns ranked. But in my opinion, they were robbed. They deserve to be a lot higher than they were. But what about now? What about with the new second fan voting results in? Where are they ranked now? How many votes do they have? Let's take a look at what those numbers say. I'm not going to read all the names on the all-star voting, so if you want, you can pause the video here and you can see where each and every player ranks and how many votes they have. I'm going to focus basically on the Knicks and some players that are above them or near them. With Karl-Anthony Towns, from the first fan voting to this fan voting, he is still number 3 in the front court in terms of voting. But last time, he had about 1 million votes. And this time around, he almost has nearly 2 million votes. So that's a lot of things going on right now for New York. But we got to keep it up. We got to keep it going. I would love to see him overtake Jason Tatum and get to number 2. That might be unlikely, but I'm going to hold out hope for that. With guards, I mean, listen, no disrespect, but there is no way LaMelo Ball should be number 1 in the East. No way, no how. I understand large social media following, largely the fan voting is a popularity contest. I get that. But we're talking about he's over Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, and Damian Lillard. He's over those 3 guards. That's just disrespectful. We need to make sure Jalen Brunson gets to at least top 2 in the Eastern Conference. And I think he has a chance. We just have to continue voting to get him there. But as you can see, in terms of where he was on January 2nd to where he is now, that's a huge jump for Jalen Brunson. He went from 477,000 to 934,000. Damian Lillard had 704 votes on January 2nd, and then on January 9th, he had about 1 million votes. So clearly, there is a difference in terms of the way the fans are voting. Jalen Brunson seems to be the favorite for the New York Knicks, and hopefully, he does get the start for the Knicks in the East. I think he deserves it. He's been playing like it. He's been being aggressive, and he's been having an all-star year, even though over the last few games, he has not shot the 3 ball that well. But I think he's going to overcome that and become that better Jalen Brunson that we've known him to be each and every game all season long. Because let's face it, when we needed a bucket, he's gotten it for us. When we needed a pass, he gave us that as well too. The playmaking has just been elite on a different level this year. If anybody deserves to start in the East, it's Jalen Brunson, not LaMelo Ball. There is no way he should be anywhere near the top. I'm not saying the kid is not talented. He is talented, but put him at number 4, number 5. Do not put him near number 1. Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard, Jalen Brunson, way better than LaMelo Ball, especially this season. I don't know about you guys, but when I see lists like this, I feel very disrespected for our players, our all-stars. I think Jalen Brunson should be number 2, and Donovan Mitchell maybe should be number 1, or you can switch that. But to see LaMelo Ball there, just absolutely disrespectful. Karl-Anthony Towns at 3, I can understand it. Hopefully, we can do that justice for him and get him to number 2, because I think he would appreciate that. And I know New York would love to have at least 2 All-Stars this year in Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. So make sure you vote for these guys and you get them into the All-Star games. I vote for them each and every day. So I hope you guys are doing the same thing as well, too. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following reports indicating that Karl-Anthony Towns does not have a problem with the amount of minutes that he's playing with the Knicks? And what about the new All-Star voting that we see here? Where really nothing changed, but the amount of votes has definitely changed, especially when you look at Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard. Let me know how you feel about all of these topics below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.